All right, Module 2 of 4 and 4 flag football's officials training. We'll be going obviously some of the game basics and giving some definitions for some of the terms that you see here. So ball status, live ball versus dead ball. Essentially, anytime that the play starts on the snap all the way to when a whistle is blown, all that time period when play is actually going on, those are live ball periods. And then everything outside of that, between downs, between halves, everything else will be dead ball. So we're going to go over some more of that stuff. Catch versus interception. Obviously, the offense makes catches, the defense makes interceptions. A simultaneous catch, when both offense and defense catch the ball at the same time, we reward the offense with the ball in that scenario. So we'll be explaining some more of those. Some of these definitions here as well we'll go over. Big one to note here is that there's no fumbles in 4 and 4 flag football. It's not like high school, college, or the NFL that you may be used to. Anytime the ball hits the ground, no matter how it got there, if it hits the ground, we're going to blow that play dead, and we will decide the outcome of it there. But anytime it touches the ground, ball is dead unless it's in the possession of somebody. Forward versus backward passes we'll touch on. Very good. Player team designation. So we have an offense and defense on every play. We'll have a passer and or a runner on every play. Typically refer to the offense as team A, defense as team B. As I mentioned, the snap is when the ball becomes live, and it will remain live until that down ends. We'll go over a little bit about how downs end and how plays typically end. When an official blows their whistle, that is when the ball is considered already dead. If you're blowing your whistle, you know that the ball is dead at that point. An inadvertent whistle, or a whistle that you blow on accident, there's a couple of options that you can do. So if you accidentally blow your whistle while somebody's running and you should not have blown your whistle, you do need to end the play, and then you have a couple of options that you will give to the offensive captain. During a loose ball play, so if the ball is in the air, you will give them the option of replaying the down. If you blow the whistle inadvertently during their run, so while they're running towards the end zone, they can either take the spot where the whistle was blown. So they're running, they cross the 20, they're on the 15, you accidentally blow the whistle. They had, say, a 20-yard gain on that play. They can choose to either take that spot where they were when you blew the whistle, or they can choose to replay the down in totality, just like during a loose ball play. So what we'll see here, it's dead ball, then the ball is snapped. When the ball is snapped, it becomes live all the way until the flag is pulled at the end there, and then it's dead again. Very good. And then it is dead all the way until the next snap happens. Okay, so plays end on any of these scenarios. So if a player runs out of bounds with the ball in their hand, the play will end if any part of their body touches the ground except for their feet or their hand. So if they kind of stumble and fall and they put their hand down to catch themselves, they're all good. But if their forearm, elbow, knee, shin, butt, anything else touches the ground, then we're going to blow the whistle and the play will end at that point. So only feet and hand, everything else, we're going to blow the whistle. Incomplete pass, we'll blow the whistle. Any sort of fumble, like I mentioned, we'll blow the whistle on. Simultaneous catch as well. And then when a flag belt is legally removed. So if somebody pulls a flag, obviously we end it. However, if somebody's running, there's nobody around them, and their flag belt just falls off, which does happen from time to time, we do not end that play. So if it just happens to fall off, then we're just going to go to a one-hand touch scenario with the team. So that player will become one-hand touch, and their flag belt is no longer in play. At the line of scrimmage, I know we mentioned that we'll talk about neutral zone. So you saw the pucks or the cones that the official was picking up in the last video. We have an orange one and we have a yellow one. Orange one is where the play actually ends and where we're going to put the ball for the next play. The yellow one will put a yard out in front, and that marks up the neutral zone. So it's a yard wide, and nobody can be lined up in the neutral zone before the play starts. The only other thing with the line of scrimmage is that an offensive player, which is going to be the snapper, has to be on the line of scrimmage. They can be right next to the cone, use their hand, snap the ball back, and they are good to go. With that snap, it does need to be one continuous motion, so they can't pump fake or fake one way and then pitch it a different way. It has to be one fluid motion back to the quarterback. And the quarterback that is accepting the snap needs to be at least 2 yards behind that orange cone or the line of scrimmage. All players need to become set before the ball is snapped, so everybody needs to be still, and then the offense is allowed to have one player in motion at the time of the snap. The player in motion, 1, they cannot be on the line of scrimmage, and 2, they cannot be moving towards the line of scrimmage. They can move laterally or backwards, not towards it. When we blow our ready for play whistle, we do need all players to be within 5 yards of the sideline. Sorry, not within, but 5 yards away from the sideline. If they are within 5 yards of the sideline, then we'll go over that as well, what you do. But essentially, somebody can't be standing out of bounds and then take one step onto the field to try and catch the other team off guard or something like that. That does not fly in 4-on-4 flag football. Everybody needs to be clearly in the field of play before the ready for play whistle starts. On passing downs, each down must have one forward pass. So there's no quarterback runs. There's no running in general in 4-on-4 flag football. There needs to be one forward pass. Once the ball is thrown, so they do throw it forward, it is considered a pass, and that necessity of one forward pass is complete, regardless if it's caught or incomplete. In 4-on-4 flag football, since there's no pass rush and the quarterback cannot run, essentially they have a 5-second timer in which they need to release the ball. And our referee will be the one counting that 5 seconds. So we'll go over how to do that, obviously, in person. But they have 5 seconds. If they do not release the ball within that 5 seconds, we blow the whistle, and then we're just going to play the next down from the previous spot as well. Any player can catch a pass in 4-on-4 flag football, so even the center that's snapping it, they are an eligible receiver, and they are good to catch the ball, so you don't need to worry about any of that. The only caveat there is if somebody runs out of bounds and then returns to the field of play, they are not allowed to be the first one to touch the ball on a pass. That will be illegal participation, and we will talk about that a little bit as well. A backwards pass or a pitch, teams can throw as many times as they would like. But again, if it hits the ground, then we're going to blow the whistle, but they can have as many backwards passes as they would like. All capital letters there. No defensive player may cross into the neutral zone or into the backfield before the pass is released. Illegal catch, so we just have 1 foot necessity inbound. So if it's on the sideline, if they catch the ball, they only need to have 1 foot inbounds before it can be considered a catch. They obviously have to have possession of the ball. And then other than that, it's sort of like if they catch the ball, they have possession, they get 1 foot down. Anything that happens after that, if they get the ball knocked out, whatever it may be, we're still going to consider that a catch. So it's not like the NFL where they have to complete the catch all the way to the ground, make a football move, etc. They have to catch the ball, take 1 step, and then they're kind of good to go from there. We can talk more if you have questions about incomplete versus complete passes, because it's a little bit different, but kind of similar to what you see on Sundays in the NFL. Okay, running the ball. So in that last play, you see the player catch the ball, and then they do a backwards pitch, and then you see that player running up the middle of the field. They are considered a runner. So they are in possession of the ball. One thing to note, and one of the biggest calls that we have to make in flag football is flag guarding. So when somebody's running with the ball, they are not allowed to use their hands to prevent somebody from pulling their flag. So they can't stiff arm, they can't swipe either. So if somebody's reaching for their flag, they can't swipe and knock it away. We'll put a flag on that. It'll be 5 yards for flag guarding. They're allowed to do handoffs. They can do lateral or backwards passes before a forward pass is thrown. That's all fine, but we still need that 1 forward pass on every play. If they do not have the forward pass, then they cannot progress to the line of scrimmage. If they do, we'll go over what that looks like, but it's essentially a legal advancement, and we'll throw a flag on that as well. Very good. All right, that will be the end of module 2. Take the quiz for me and come on back and we will jump into module 3.